Hi, everyone, and welcome to Business Playbook Series Part 4. I am Coach Sherri, and this is also Real Talk with Coach Sherri. This channel is about workforce development, career readiness, entrepreneurship, and of course, real life, real issues, and real talk. I am Coach Sherri, and I am your business and career coach. I coach small to mid-sized businesses as well as nonprofit organizations in building their foundation for their business so that it is strong and sustainable. I also assist people with their career pathing so that they are doing what they are great at and doing what they love instead of always just doing what they have to do. You can actually do what you love and it can sustain your family, it can provide for you. That is not a myth. Some people think it's unrealistic to be able to actually make a living doing what you love. It is totally possible. But I have this business series called Business Playbook because I know that a strong foundation is the beginning and the end of any business or career. If you don't have a strong foundation, it will definitely crumble. You might find success in the beginning, but as you continue to build and grow, you are going to possibly have challenges that if you would have just set up the foundation right the first time, you would not have that situation. So I am glad that today is the fourth of the 10-part series. It is a 10-part series, and we're going to be talking about your marketing communications plan. And the acronym for that is MARCOM plan. And I'm excited to talk about it. I help a lot of businesses in developing their MARCOM, especially small businesses and nonprofit organizations. They find that this is their template for the year and beyond for their business. It's similar to a traditional business plan, but to me, it's more rich because it goes into the how. It goes really in depth with the how. But before we begin, I definitely want to go into the chat and see who is in the building. I see Vern's Junk Closet is here, and I am a member of Vern's page, and she had a fantastic live for her members earlier, and she had amazing gift giveaways. And thank you so much, Vern, for that generosity and the support that you continuously give everyone, not just who are members of your channel, but just people in general on YouTube, small, medium, and large YouTubers. I know I totally appreciate you, your support, your guidance. Thank you so much. I see Minister of Music Terrence Trower is in the building, you guys. If you have not gone over to his channel yet, I don't know why. He is so inspirational. He is marvelous and is doing great things, especially for our youth. I highly encourage you to check him out. And I'm going to bring their pages and things up so that you can see them in case you're not quite catching me as I'm sharing them with you. Let's see. So far, that's who's in the building. Thank you all for being here. And for those of you that are in the back, in the bleachers, in the balcony, I appreciate you for being here too. If you are brand new to this channel, or if you've been back to me numerous times and have yet to hit that subscribe button, please do so now. I invite you to hit that subscribe button so that we can be connected. If you clicked on this video from another platform like Facebook or Twitter, you may be saying, well, Coach Sherri, I'm trying to subscribe, but I can't. It's not letting me. You may have to go back out and sign in under your YouTube page and then come back to me, and that's how you can subscribe. If you are finding this information that I'm going to share with you tonight useful, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate that. If you think someone in your circle, don't keep this to yourself. So if you think someone in your circle also needs to hear this information, share this video with them. If they're unable to watch it tonight, it is definitely recorded, and so they'll be able to catch it on the replay. Anyone you know who is starting a business, who is thinking about starting a business, who's in a business, anyone that even has a career and are serious about it, I highly recommend this video for them. I do have a playlist with all of my business Playbook Series in it. And so the first 3 episodes are in there. And I believe I added it to the description of this video. And if I didn't, before this video was published, I will definitely add the link to the playlist so that you can check it out in case you missed any of the others. I see Edward Smart walked in. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Edward is a great supporter as well, and he is in Hawaii, you guys. He has some really great videos. He captures amazing things, especially aerials. So I would recommend going to his channel as well. Yes. Okay, everyone is speaking. That is great. I'm going to be back and forth between the chat as well as the banners because I'm going to be bringing up information that I am going to be sharing because I am hopeful that you have your pen and paper ready. Remember, I had always recommended that you get a notebook and designate it just for this series. So if you have to go right now to get your notebook or to get your pen and paper, I'll wait a few minutes just to give some housekeeping. You can ask your questions in the chat and I'll bring your questions up to the board. If you have any comments or concerns, please also leave them in the chat and I will definitely address them throughout this live. Let's see. I am going to be, like I said, bringing up banners, and the banners are going to be the subtitles of whatever I'm talking about so that you can label your notes as you go along. And also, I want to let you know that at the beginning of 2021, I can't give you an exact date, but at some point in 2021 early, I'm going to do a master class. And my master class, I'm only going to have 10 people in that class. And that is where you can get specific information for whatever you are doing. It's going to be a high level coaching session, and it's going to include a lot of the things that I talk about in my business playbook, but I will go more in depth. And like I said, you will be able to apply it directly to your business because I will be able to help you craft whatever you are doing specifically. So it's going to be more targeted, and I'm only going to have 10 slots for that. And those will be held more than likely utilizing the Zoom platform. So that's going to be off of YouTube, but I will start marketing and advertising for that as I get closer in developing the program. But it's definitely going to be something. As I was doing this, the business playbook, I'm giving you guys a lot of stuff that I already do with my clients, but I'm just not going as deep. I'm just really kind of giving you the surface so that you can have a better understanding and overview of it all. And you absolutely can research it and dig deeper for yourself. But I've always found when you have an accountability partner, someone such as a coach, a counselor, a team member, a partner, any of those things, that you will more than likely have even that much more success because you have that person behind you, encouraging you, holding you accountable for the things that you are saying that you're going to do, things that you have to implement. You have a checkpoint partner as well. So when you are putting these things into play, you can have that person coming behind you and making sure that all the pieces are connecting and, just kind of guiding you along. And that's what I know my clients find most valuable, is having that checkpoint partner. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. I've done group sessions like this years ago in terms of master sessions, and they've always been successful. I've done them with people all over the country. So it's not about you being in the Carolinas or, really local or anything like that. You could be anywhere and participate, and I will definitely accommodate the different time zones that I'm sure everyone is going to be coming from. So I'm excited for that. I am. Let's see. All right, so let's get into the content. So please put a 1 in the chat if you are familiar with a marketing communications plan or a MarCom, if you are familiar with it in business. Let me see. Put a 1 in the chat if you are familiar with a marketing communications plan. Okay, put a 3 in the box if you haven't heard of it before. And that's fine. This is all true for you. This is not a judgment. There's a lot of things that I haven't heard. I love when I hear of something that I never heard of before because I know I'm about to learn. So I'm excited about that. So if you've never heard of a Marcom or a marketing communications plan, please put a number 3 in the box. Let's see. All right. I don't see any ones or threes. So I guess everyone is neutral. Maybe some people are a little familiar with it. Some people, just have never put it into use. So, okay, I see Edward Smart is saying a 3. I see ASL Interpreter. Hello, welcome to the Business Playbook Series. And you have a 3 as well. All right. Thank you. Thank you for that. That's great. I love to kind of get a feel for my audience. That's the thing about doing training or facilitating new material virtually. You don't always have that high touch, and especially with YouTube not being able to see you. That's why when I do my master sessions, I want to do it on a Zoom where I can see everyone as well as hear their voices and have it be really, really interactive. This works out great, with the chat being interactive. It definitely works out better than it just being a recorded video. But that having that interaction for me gives me so much life. So for those of you that are here in the live, please be sure, go away, like go at it in the chat because I love it. I do. And thank you so much, Vern's Junk Closet, for welcoming everyone in as they come. Oh, okay. Hey, Philly girl, how you doing? Okay. So ASL Interpreter, that's your second channel? Is that your second channel? I haven't seen you in a while. How's it going? How's your team doing? Oh, it's good to see you. All right. So what I'm going to do in this business playbook series with the marketing communications plan, I'm outlining all of the components that this plan should include. Okay? So when you are considering it for your business, all the things that I'm going to share with you are what you need to have in it. And this is a live document. It is something that will continuously grow. It is something you will continuously refer back to. It is something that once it is complete, and actually, I mean, I say when it's complete, but it's never completely complete because you're always adding and referring back and changing and tweaking it. But if you are looking to get investors or stakeholders or sponsors for your business, this is something that you can share with them and they can see the work that you are doing in it, because a lot of times businesses won't necessarily invest in you, or be it as a individual investor or sponsor or whatever, if they don't see you putting in the work. And I think that holds true even as a YouTube content creator. Sponsors, YouTube, and that's the luxury, I guess, of being on YouTube. Once you are monetized, YouTube filters the sponsors, I suppose, to put the ads, allow you to put the ads on your channel once you are monetized. But in real life, like realistically, businesses don't tend to want to sponsor people who are idle, people who aren't putting in the work, people who aren't investing in their own selves. And an investment doesn't always mean money. It means time, it means creativity, innovation. So, I'm looking at that. I'm not yet monetized yet, but I'm looking at that because I would love to acquire even more sponsors. I mean, even as a unmonetized channel, I was able to capture the attraction of a sponsor who sponsors my Friday night lives. And so, you just never know. But as long as you keep your paperwork straight and it's visible, you are being authentic in it, and they can see how you are functioning. It can take you so many different places. It really can. And with the internet, and with social media and everything, it really makes marketing and attraction marketing that much easier. I was thinking today as I was doing my notes for this series, I was like, now trying to remember how I was able to get investors for the real estate development project my husband and I did back in 2004, 2003. This is before, I mean, I guess there was Google and stuff, but that's not how I found them. And they were in California and they invested millions of dollars into the project. And I can't remember for the life of me how I connected with them. But, I'm sure it was somehow through networking, probably some kind of industry publication. But now, with the beauty of social media, with the beauty of the internet, and how you can just navigate through and how people can easily find you and you can find them, it just makes it that much easier. So because it's that much easier, you really have to be tight and right with your information. I see Time with Tiffy is in the building. Hello, welcome, welcome. I hope everyone has their paper and pen. I was trying to give you some time to look for it. I thought it might be handy. I have mine right here. So let's begin. Okay, so the first component in your marketing communications plan is the introduction. In this introduction, you will be introducing your business or your organization. You will also include your mission statement as well as your vision statement. It's good to see you. Good to see you too, Time with Tiffy. Yes, absolutely. So, when you are starting your business, you need to also consider what is the mission of your business. Write it down, have it tight. It shouldn't be a long report, a long thesis or anything like that. It should be a few sentences to accurately describe what your mission is. What is the goal of your business? What is the vision? The vision and mission statements are two different things, and I'm not going to go into grave detail with you in terms of how to craft it. That is something I will definitely go over in more detail in the masterclass. In the masterclass, we will actually be working on your mission statement and your vision statement. So when you are done with that particular session, you walk away with it for your business. But I just wanted you to know that this is a component that is part of your marketing communications plan, your mission and vision statement. And that goes under the header of introduction. Hi, Zaya Rose. How are you? It's good to see you. I hope school is going well for you. Okay. So we have the introduction. The next one we have, the next component is the overview. And in the overview, you will list the objectives and the strategy of your business. What is the overview? Like, how do you plan on setting it up? What are the strategies that you have come up with to grow your business, to develop your business, if it's making a product, how are you going to do it? Are you doing it yourself? Are you outsourcing? Do you have vendors that you're working with? You're going to give an overview of the entire business within itself. Okay. And if you have questions as I'm going through, if you feel I'm going too fast, or if you want me to just kind of reel back, I can definitely do that. That's what this is all about. All right. So we are doing this interactively. The next piece is the background. Okay. That's the next component for your marketing communications plan. So far you have your introduction, your overview, and now you have your background. And I really hope that you are writing this down, because this is what you will put in your table of contents. So when a person opens up your marketing communications plan, because it's a document, it can be pretty thick, almost like a book. When they open it up, they may just have specific things they want to look at. So if you have your table of contents, they can see, what everything is that's listed, and go to that page, and everything should be page numbered as well. This is a real thing. This is a live document. When I tell you that this type of document will help set you up for success, I am dead serious. It will. Hey, Just Teresa, welcome to the live. It's great to see you. And she had a great premiere as well. She did a cupcake gift idea that she got gathered from the dollar store, and it's dealing with socks and the cupcake tins, and is very economical and useful. Everything in that gift was 100% useful. I enjoyed it very much. Very nice. So when you talk about your background, you want to go into the details, when and where you started, the location. Did you start it in your hometown? Are you planning on expanding? And this is, we're talking about brick and mortar. If it's a virtual business, are you able to conduct business internationally? What are your plans for expansion? Do you have sales consultants? Are you building it like a direct sales company? Like my business that I had with my jewelry was a direct sales company, and it continued to expand. I'm sorry, it continued to expand over time, which was great. But if you're not prepared for that, it can be overwhelming. You may have caught my live last night. I had Shaquana Fowler. She is a team leader and business owner, and she works for the network marketing business Bedroom Candy, and that's direct sales. And I'm sure when that business was developing and continues to develop, they consider all those things. Where are their consultants going to be? Can they do business in those regions, in those areas? And it's important to put this in the front and stick to it. I know that businesses can be um, can be in situations where you want to pivot on a dime. You want to take advantage of things that come to you. So once you're in it, a lot of great opportunities will come to you. A lot of great ideas will be presented to you. But I am encouraging you to have your marketing plan laid out, have cushion, have room for growth within it for that year, but stick to your plan. Don't implement too many new things once your plan is relatively finalized for that year. Don't add too much to it. So many people will give you these great ideas. Oh, you should try. Oh, you should go over here. Oh, you should do this. Or you should add that. Don't be so tempted to take all of those things and put them into play for that year. Mark them down, capture them, and see how you can fit them in maybe for the next year, or the year after. Because what will it take to add a new product line? What will it take to enter into another industry that, where you were right here, but now this industry is a little bit different than yours. It's aligned with yours, but it's a little different. It's almost like having a candle business, and now you are in a wreath business. They kind of both go together. I mean, they deal with home decor and everything, but it's a different product line. And one might be the floral industry, whereas the other is more the crafts and things like that. Even though a wreath is crafty as well, but you have to really weigh it, and maybe it's not the right time for you to introduce the wreaths to your candle business. So don't allow people to come and um, peer pressure you into starting things and putting things into your business if you really aren't ready, because you have to also look at the financial piece. If you're adding new product, if you're adding another line, that's going to be an additional finance. What is the return on investment going to be? Because you're going to have to output before you can have any input coming back. So you have to be really mindful of that. And Vern is saying, yes, take your time. Take your time. This is not a race for the swift. It is the slow and the steady that will endure. And you want to be one of those slow but steady, and just build and build. And next thing you know, the momentum will pick up, and you'll have a fine wheeled business going, going, going. You'll have employees working with you that now you have the capacity to grow in those other areas. And that's what you have to consider too. If you're doing this as a solopreneur, then you have to make sure you have the capacity, the bandwidth to handle all these new things you're trying to implement. Okay. So start off small and grow from there. Absolutely. Thank you, Just Teresa. Thank you. Okay. All right, everyone is speaking. Okay, so with the background, you want to also put in like your hours of operation. If you are a storefront, especially, it should be about 2 to 3 paragraphs with about 5 to 7 bullets describing your offering, describing what your product is. And your product can be it doesn't have to be a tangible product. It could be a service. What I offer is a service. I don't have a tangible product, but my service is something that people pay for, and they grow from it. It enhances them. Just like, If you buy a piece of jewelry that is gold or diamonds and it it helps your bottom line, what I provide people definitely can help their bottom line, because especially with my resume writing, as people are getting new jobs, getting better paying jobs, getting promotions, and I'm hearing so many success stories from people that I've done resumes for, and it is so amazing, especially in this day and age where what we're going through, and I love it. But that is a service, and that's my business, and that's my product, that's my offering, is to help support people with their career paths, and that includes their resume writing, interview prep. It's crafting their career story. Everyone has a career story. Your business has a story. What is that story? And you should know what that story is. That's the why. That's you, the who. What's the what? Who? Where's the when? Where? Why? How? All those is part of your story. Okay. So the next thing that you have is the description. You're going to describe what your product is, your business description, the success to date. So if you have a product and you've been like off the radar with it, you hadn't really publicized it, but you've been selling it, you might have been selling it, just doing your own home parties, your friends, your neighbors, your family know about it, and they always get it. It's like, someone who makes cakes, something like that, where people know you are an amazing baker, you've been making wedding cakes, birthday cakes, and over time, what is that looking like? How much have you made from that? People want to know numbers. Numbers are huge. And also with your resume, the more you can quantify things on your resume, the better it is as well, because that really shows that, what you are doing has that kind of value. And so you want to describe everything that you are offering, from the smallest thing to the biggest thing. You want to, if you have like social media content creators, they always have to talk about how many they have following them, how many likes they have. And I'm going to go into that a little bit later as well. But you want to, definitely have that description really, really detailed. Some people might say, oh, it's just too much information. This is one of those documents you have to put too much information in, don't skip over, don't skim it. You want to put as much information. Okay. The next is the situation analysis, your SWOT. It's your business SWOT. So, what is the strength of your business, the weakness, the opportunities, and the threats? And we've gone over this before, but in regards to your competition and your customer client base. So, you know what the strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities are with your competition. Your first, your second, your primary, your secondary competition. You know what your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats are when it comes to your client base. But what is the strength, opportunities, and threats when it comes to you and your business? So, a strength would be you. You being part of your business, you are a strength. Hopefully, hopefully you are a strength. Some people don't think they are, but you are. The fact that you have the knowledge, the wherewithal, the information, the talent, the experience, you are a strength. So you would almost put an overview of your resume on there as a strength. If you have partners, whatever their strength is, you will put that in this as well. It could be the education. For nonprofit organizations, a strength is their board of directors. So who are on your board of directors? What are their positions? What is their circle of influence? What education background do they have? What background do they have in whatever your nonprofit is? Because that's why they're on the board, right? So what are they bringing to the table? That's their strength. The weakness may be that you don't have a full board if you are a nonprofit. The weakness may be that you don't have the right investors if you are a business. The weakness may be that you are not living in a place that can utilize your skills and talents. What are your weaknesses? What are your opportunities? With C19, opportunities are abound. There are so many, that's why I get excited, because there's so many opportunities right now for so many different types of businesses. And so you really have to understand how you fit in. What is missing? What are the problems? And what solution do you have for it? What are the threats? Are the threats that the market is saturated? Are the threats that because of C-19, whatever your materials are, you may have a challenge in getting them in a timely way? For instance, my one of my daughters is a shoe plug and a sneaker plug, and those are the people that sell those really really expensive sneakers that are like, I don't think any of her shoes are under $300. And so there's people around the world that invest in these sneakers. I'm always amazed. I don't know who these people are, but I'm you know but because of C-19, she was having a challenge with her shipping. Shipping was a lot slower. So the turnaround when she would get her payment to when the person would get their product was really a long time. And it was starting to stress her out because, of course, the client is like, where's my sneakers or whatever. And especially if they had an event or something they were purchasing it for. So, that made her, you know, do more high touch, more customer service, keeping it, following up with them more, things like that. And I think because she did do a great job with the follow up, it really put them at ease. And luckily, we were in COVID because where were they going? Where were they going? It wasn't like how it was before for her, where people were, getting things because they were going to a concert or on a vacation or a special trip or whatever. With this, they just wanted to have these particular sneakers because they are collector's items and they do increase in value. I'm surprised because, especially with the Michael Jordans, I remember, this is kind of like a sidebar, but I remember, well, you don't know, but I used to play basketball, and in high school, when this was in '86, and it was the first year that the Jordans came out with the metallic swoop, and my school colors were blue and white, and myself and one of my dearest friends on my basketball team, we were the only two on our basketball team that veered off and didn't get the traditional whatever the team used to get. We were like, no, we getting these Jordans, they coming out. And they were so beautiful. They were white with the metallic blue swoop. I mean, they would have cat's me out even back then. And I can't remember how much we paid, but I know it wasn't more than $50. And now those sneakers are like three, four, $500. It's crazy to me. And in real life, comparing them to the sneakers today that basketball players wear, those were the worst sneakers for your feet to play basketball in, for real. I mean, the sole is completely flat and straight, and there's no arch really in there, and they're stiff. It's just, I can't believe that we wore them, but we thought we was doing it. We were doing it. So I wish I had them now because, with basketball sneakers, I didn't wear them out. I just wore them on the court. So the bottoms probably weren't messed up or anything really. Yeah, because we didn't wear those as girls back then. We didn't wear those kind of sneakers out in the street. If you played ball, you wore them on the court, and after you got off the court, I know I always changed my clothes into something cute because, but anyway, um I wish I knew where they were, and I know they're nowhere to be found. But those are some little things to think about when you purchase, like make big purchases for your kids. You might want to think about what the future will look like for that item instead of just throwing them away. You are a strength, Verns. You are. Yes. So Edward Smart, you're asking, how do you find out if there is a demand for your product? So you can do some research. Research is really, really important. Go to associations that are also dealing with your same product, associations or organizations, either in your community or just out and about. Like, you can go on LinkedIn, Facebook groups, go join these groups and hear what the conversation is about your particular product. See where the market is growing in that area or where it's not. I belong to a lot of different associations according to the different businesses that I have. And it's like keeping your ear to the ground. You want to know what's going on. You want to read those articles. You want to also be a part of what the projections are. Like right now, for what I do with workforce development, I'm looking to 2030. I know we're in 2020, about to hit 2021, but I'm planning things out for 2030 because 2030 is going to be a whole nother situation for our work. excuse me, for our workforce. So definitely join organizations, do some due diligence by doing, what did I call them? When you go and shop your competitors. And I did a video on this with the business series. I think it was the second one, about the competitors, because you can see what your competitors are doing. Talk with them. There's room at the table for everyone. So many people always think, oh, the competitors aren't going to want to talk to me. They will. If you approach them in the right way, you let them know, listen, I'm in the same industry, because maybe y'all could collaborate on some things, but you let them know, and they will sit down with you oftentimes and share with you what's going on. Is the market growing? Is it not? Is this something? Do you recommend that I do a brick and mortar, or do you recommend that I do this from home? What are the pros and cons for all those things? So that is really, really helpful. Don't always think because you love something that everyone else is going to love it, because you might be just that one person. And so you don't ever want to do a business because you love something. You really want to make sure that there is a demand for it. And the only way you're going to find that out is through research. Absolutely. I hope that answered your question. Oh, Sawana Creative Circle. Hello, how are you? Thank you for being here. Thank you so much. Okay, so that's the situation analysis. So with that, you will have a separate section for your SWOT, but then you would talk about your audience analysis. So remember when I believe it was the second part two of the Business Playbook series, and so we talked about your audience, we talked about the competitors. You will continue to elaborate on that. But with that piece, you've created a value chart, okay? Because we talked also about the value proposition. So you also are going to include the value chart in this marketing communications plan, so that not only you, but your investors, whoever is part of your business, they can see that you've done your due diligence, you've done your research, and these are the results, so that they can also see, because that's how investors determine if they're going to invest in your product. They want to see, what's the competition doing, what's your customer saying about it. Also, Edward, another thing, and I talked about this I think last week on part 3, is doing surveys of your customers to see what it is that they actually want. Always go back and talk to the customers that have actually purchased from you. Get their feedback on how they are enjoying your product, would they do it again. I'm trying to tell you guys, understanding where your customers are coming from is so important. When someone comes to you to make a purchase, or when someone comes to you because they say, they found you, they want to utilize your services, always ask them, where did they hear from you? I mean, where did they hear from you? Where did they hear about you from? Was it a referral? Who referred them? Was it going on a particular platform? Was it through an email campaign that you had? Like, how did they find you? Because that's when you start to gather that information, that's how you know where you need to spend your time. If they're being referred by one particular person all the time, you want to make sure you keep that person in the loop. I have one apprentice, and he's a former apprentice. He finished, he has his journeyman's card, but he's referred so many people to my programs. It's been incredible. He definitely gets like the gold star for it, because he is looking out. He does not want to be the only one changing the game in his circle. He wants his cousins to change the game. He wants his friends to change the game. When people come to him to borrow stuff, he can't give them anything but a job, but an opportunity. So that's someone that whenever I have something coming up, I'm always sending him the link to send out for his people to apply, because he knows what I need and what I want. And he is not going to ever, refer someone that's going to make him look bad either. That's his brand too. So I'm definitely, I always keep him in the loop. So that's really important, to understand where your customer base is coming from. That is a piece that so many people let go by the wayside, and you really, really shouldn't, because it's valuable, very valuable. Okay, great. Great. Thank you, Edward. I'm glad. Okay. So let me get back here. Let me make sure. Okay. So then the next piece is your marketing overview. All right. And in that, you want to have your marketing history. So, what were some of your past successes and failures? Okay. Don't be afraid to talk about your failures. I'm telling you, when someone can effectively talk about their failures, I'm very impressed because, first of all, the fact that you are owning up to that did not work out. There's some people that just will not admit when something doesn't work. They just refuse. It's funny. They just refuse to admit when something doesn't work out. But when a person can admit, you know what, that didn't work out. However, what I did learn from that situation is next time I might need to have more staff. Next time, I need to order less inventory for that event. Next time, your failures teach you what to not do, what to do and what not to do next time. And those are very valuable. Those are transferable skills that many successes can never teach you. So don't be ashamed of your failures. Just know that if you have had a failure, you need to really hammer it down and understand why did it fail, and what can you do next time to make it better, to make it that success. So do a debrief, for every event that you have, for every campaign that you put out there, for every new thing that you do. Always do a debrief where you are doing your pluses and your deltas. Your pluses are the positives, the things that work, the things that were great, the things that you will continuously do. The deltas are the things that you will change, the challenges that you may have had, the things that you want to tweak and make better so that the next time they can then be positives. And you always want to go back, because you want to do that for every new thing that you do. And you always want to go back and make sure you address those deltas, because if you don't, then that list is just going to continue to grow and build. And you want to it's going to grow, it's going to build, but you want to take stuff off all the time and make sure you're addressing it. Okay. And also with your marketing overview, you want to talk about money that you saved, money that you spent, um money that was earned. You want to quantify it. It's going to be important. Quantifying is important. And I always say that with people, especially if I'm working on someone's resume and they have on there that they work with budgets or procurement. I always say, okay, this is what you say you do. Well, how much money have you saved the company? How much money? What's your budget? How much do you spend of that budget? What do you do with the excess from that budget? Just different things that you would need to put. And that is some of the highlights that that companies are looking for. Those are the highlights that investors are looking for. There are some people that they are scanning your documents, they are scanning your resume, they are scanning your marketing plan, they are scanning your business plan for those numbers. So you definitely want to include them for that person in particular. And you want to be able to write it so it is capturing the attention of all different types of personalities. And there's four personalities at all times. No matter what assessment you do, is always going to be four, is always. And there's one in particular that I trained sales and marketing our sales and marketing consultants for our real estate development, and it's called Bolt. And it helped them identify the home buyers, by their personality, and be able to show them the floor plan, the actual home that their particular personality would really enjoy. I can't even tell you how that right there is a game changer. I definitely want to teach my daughter that, because she is also a real estate agent now, and I'm just letting her get her feet wet and letting her see things, and just want to hear some of her frustrations before I intervene with that nugget, because you have to kind of see how not understanding that doesn't work. before. Sometimes it depends on your personality. Sometimes you have to see when it doesn't work, so that when something that does work is introduced, you are ready to receive it, if that makes sense. So basically, with the four different personalities, and even like everything, there's four seasons, there's four cycles, there's four times a year, there's, it's like everything happens in fours. And when you can understand like a person's personality, and what they prefer, what things really excite them, what's important to them, and take them directly to that thing, you will have a winning purchaser buyer every time. Our sales consultants, they were able to close every just about, I want to say, 90% of the time when new clients came in, because we have four different floor plans. Like I said, there's four different personalities. Two of the floor plans had vaulted ceilings, two did not. And that's a whole nother video. I'm not going to get too much into that. I'm sorry. Let's see. Natural Latricia is in the building. Hello, how are you? Thank you for being here. Feast with Cornice is here. Hello, how are you doing, sis? Great to see you. Yes, it's good to see everyone. Thank you all for being here, because this is Saturday evening. Christmas is around the corner. Hanukkah is here. Kwanzaa is around the corner, and you could have been anywhere else. And it is 6:30. What time is it? 7:16 on a Saturday night. And you said, you know what? I'm gonna go check out Coach Sherri. So I appreciate you all for being here. As you come in, if you are enjoying this information, this is the Business Playbook Series number 4. We're talking about the marketing communications plan. If you are enjoying what you're hearing, please be sure to give this live a thumbs up. If you know somebody in your circle that is trying to build their business, that's trying to understand the ins and outs, and wants to build a strong foundation for it, be sure to share this video out with them, because there's so many nuggets being dropped. And I hope that you have your pen and paper so that you're capturing this information, because what I'm giving you is the layout for your marketing communications plan. And this stuff right here is very valuable, very valuable. So it is my pleasure to share it with you. And I hope that you find the value in it as well, and that you will implement it. And I can't wait in the near future to hear some success stories. That always gets me going. So thank you all. Yes, thank you. I'm glad that you are here. Absolutely. All right. So you have your marketing overview. You want to also talk about your marketing collateral, the assets that you've already put into the business. How much money did you already invest in it? What did you purchase, and what was the cost of those things? Because that's another thing that I found out, when we were doing our real estate development, that the investors that we wanted to invest a lot of money wanted to make sure that we invested a lot of money in it too. It's like they wanted to make sure we had some skin in the game. And if you are just out there looking and wanting people to invest, and you just sitting back and you're not trying to put any of your blood in there, a lot of times people won't, they don't trust that. It's one of those, they don't want to have more to lose than you do. So you want to make sure that you are keeping tabs of all the things that you are spending, and the cost of those things. You also want to show like the marketing campaigns that you've already done. So if you are wanting to get money even from the bank, I like private investors because there's a lot of them out there. But even if you go to the bank, they want to see all of this as well. Your marketing campaigns, if you are marketing even like on Facebook, how they have for your business page, and you can do campaigns there. You want to keep tabs of how much you're spending. Whatever, I don't know if there's any ways that you pay here on YouTube. But I know if you are a member of someone's page, and that person is someone that's helping you grow your business, that could also be part of your marketing campaigns as well. Fundraising, especially if you're a nonprofit organization. But you will be so surprised. A lot of for-profit businesses have components of nonprofit kind of things in them. They do a lot of philanthropy things in their communities regarding their business. So you want to talk about any annual campaigns that you may have, donations that you've received, investments that people may have invested, even if it's your family members, your friends. Sometimes those are your first investors, the people that know you and love you and believe in you the most. Sponsors that you have, how much you received, what did you receive from those sponsors, any kind of special events that you've put together. You might have had campaign special events around a new product launch, a new business launch, special events around seasons, holidays, whatever your special events are, you want to have that in that portion of your marketing communications plan. Your social media marketing, like I said, the Facebook, you want to also include your number of followers, your number of likes. And let me tell y'all, did y'all get this? If you are a content creator, put a heart in the box if you received the email from YouTube today. I received the email from YouTube and it had my 2020 overview and I loved it. I created like a short video um, with it. I mean, it's not anything spectacular. I just did it on iMovie as a trailer. But, it's good to see those numbers and, investors want to see that. People want to see that. And that's a good document to include in your marketing communications plan. And it's awesome when a platform like a YouTube can offer that. And see, that's what I'm saying. People don't even know. I know YouTube has made a lot of changes. I mean, I haven't been really affected by, the only thing I've been affected is with the purge, but I'm not even mad at that. I'm not mad at that. But the thing is, all that they give us and they don't charge us is remarkable. So they have to maximize what they make so that they can continue to offer it to us for nothing. They give us an opportunity to market our own businesses. They give us a platform to reach out to people all over the world, literally all over the world. When I look at my analytics, I have people in Hong Kong, the UK, the Caribbean, everywhere, Canada. And I'm on other platforms, but not so many other platforms are giving me this free space like this, not to this extent. So, and then for them to give you documents with overviews of the year, they keep track of all that and they send it individual. Like that's dope. That's good business right there. You want to also keep tabs of the publicity that you have, articles that you have written. I highly recommend that you write articles so that you can be seen as a subject matter expert in your industry, whatever that industry is. And, you can write articles, you can write blogs, anything that's going to put out content out there. Look for those, like I said, those associations, those organizations within your industry, join them. And oftentimes they have newsletters. And when they have newsletters, they're always looking for content. So stay on trend with what's going on in your industry and write out your thoughts, write out what you think is going on with that. So far this year, I've written two highly published articles in my industry. And that was a goal that I had for 2020 and it happened. And it's like, wow, that's a great thing. Also, any articles that was written about you, if you've been interviewed, if you've done any been interviewed for podcasts. I've been interviewed for like two podcasts. I've done a WebEx for an organization out in San Francisco this year. So all those things needs to be in your marketing plan. Okay. Okay. I talked about fundraising. I talked about the social media marketing. I didn't even put those up there. I'm sorry, but these are all like sub tabs that you would have in your marketing communications document. I'm going to go into the chat and see if anyone's saying anything. Everyone is speaking. Okay. All right, perfect. Let me see. Vern, what you looking for? I see you said, let me look. Yes. So Vern did say, do a debrief. Absolutely. And Edward is saying, you should always learn from your failures. Yeah. And see, so Edward, the first thing is to know that you had that failure. Some people won't admit it. But when you are honest with yourself and the process and trusting it, in order to trust it, you have to be honest with it. So recognizing that, wow, that didn't work. Oof, that did not work out, and I get it. Everybody wants to say positive. Everyone wants everything to seem as if it's going great. But a failure is not a bad thing. It's funny because my husband doesn't even call it failures; he calls it unsuccesses. So it's really not a bad thing as long as you grow from it, and you really can if you are honest with it. Absolutely. So okay, everyone is speaking. I'm trying to tell you, everyone in this live right now are so amazing. If you do not have each other, as you look and scroll through, write the names of the people you don't have already and go back at the end of this and go and check out at least one or two of their videos. Look at the video, leave a comment, like, connect with them, because these are great people here. Y'all all are so amazing. Thank you all for being here. Oh, okay. Yeah. So you just saw it, Vern, the year in review. Did you all get yours? If y'all are content creators, put a heart in the box if you got your YouTube year in review. Because I got mine this morning. I was like, look. And I was so proud of it. I'm not exactly where I wanted to be, but you know what? We got what, 2 more weeks? I have 2 weeks to get from, how many people do I have on my team? Let me see. I have 696 subscribers, and my goal for 2020 was 2020. So I might be able to make it in the next couple of weeks, more than double my size, right? Who knows? Stranger things have happened, so I'm not, it's not a joke. Hi, Vernell, how are you? It's good to see you. How are things in California? It's so good to see you. All right, so the social media marketing, any kind of mentions that you have, pay attention to those. When people share you out, and you know about it, you find it, go and thank them for it. When people mention you in their videos or hashtag you, go and let them know, like, thank you, I see that. Definitely have a spirit of thankfulness, because that is really important as well. Okay, so next we're going to talk about deliverables. Okay, and so this is like your annual report, your annual snapshot, and it's going to talk about your new and current offerings and accomplishments. And it's like a message from you, a message from the CEO, the CFO, whoever is in your organization. This is a message from them, and it's talking about, where you see the business going, what you've just came through, and where you project that you are going. And this is probably like one or two paragraphs per person, and you really want them to be honest about it. You want them to be innovative with it, to think out the box as they're writing it, to consider all things. It's almost like your performance rating. How do you feel that you've done as a business? What would you like to do from this point forward as a business? You are part of this business, you are part of this brand. So what kind of impact do you want? What is your reflection on this past year, for from where you have come? So that's what you will put in that deliverable. Okay. Yes, so you reached 250 subs. Congratulations. I'm telling you, it's every milestone is really important. I can't, when I got to 100, I was like, what? Cuz I was at 50 for years. Probably 20 and then 50 for years. And so I was at 50, about 50 in December last year this time. And so from last year this time to now, I grew this much. And I know that I have some great people, really strong, stick with me, I stick with you type people. And I'm, really fortunate, very blessed to be where I'm at. I know it's kind of slow, but it's steady. So I'm pleased with it. I'm very pleased. I see Being Marilyn Gale is in the building. Welcome. I'm glad that you're here. Thank you for being here. And Vern is saying hello to everyone. Thank you, Vern. Okay, so we talked about the deliverables, and now we're going to talk about your financials. Let me put this down here. Your financials, okay? I highly recommend that you invest in QuickBooks or some type of program like that. Definitely have a tax accountant that knows what your industry is. you might have to have several tax accountants, ones that, know about this, one that know about that. We had to have one that knew about real estate. We had to have one that knew about this, about our, my husband's other industry. Like, you have to really have people that know, because if they don't know, they could either help you lose money or help you not gain any money. So, being, very well versed on what it is that you're doing. And that's why it's important for you to be clear on what you are trying to do. And going back to Edward's previous question, that's another part of that due diligence, is when you are finding out what the other businesses in your industry are doing, what were some of their pitfalls, what were some of their gains, and this gives you a better idea of how to craft who you are and where you're going. So when you're talking to these professionals, like a tax accountant or a lawyer, you're not just sitting there listening to them telling you what you need. You're also contributing, letting them know what it is that you need. I'm not intimidated to talk to anybody on any level. I never have been. I remember right out of college, I worked on Wall Street as an editor for an environmental law firm. And so many people would be cautious on talking to the partners, but I didn't care. I'm like, they put their pants on just like I do. Like, the only thing is they have a JD, just like a doctor. The only thing is he's better in science and math probably than me, and went to medical school. But that doesn't mean that I don't know something. Even when I was caring for my mother as she lived with ALS, I researched. And so I knew what would be best for my mother. I researched, I did my due diligence, I interviewed other caregivers of people who lived with ALS and found out, like, what's the best trachea, what's the best this, what's that. So when the doctors tried to give me whatever, and I told them, I said, I know that you're probably getting an amazing vacation and fabulous dinners from this pharmaceutical company. That's why you are referring or recommending that she gets this. But I know for a fact that that product is not going to be comfortable for her, and I want her to have this. And they would always be like, wait, not I'm like, I get it. Trust me, I get it. I know pharmaceutical sales reps. I know what they do for you, and that's fine. But you're not going to get a vacation off of my mother. That's just not going to happen. So always know what's best for you and speak up on it. Just because they have, whatever education they have, do not be intimidated by that. A lot of times people who are in professions like that, it's easier for them to cookie cutter all of their clients because it takes the guesswork out of everything. It's just like, oh, okay, you're in this, so come over here. Don't cookie cutter me. No, I'm custom built. So I need to be treated customized. So, and that's what I would tell the doctors about my mother. I'm like, she is not a cookie cutter. She is a customized, well built home. And I need you to treat her as such. So that regular schmegular stuff is not going to work for her. And we always got what we needed. My mother was as comfortable as I could possibly get her to be. So definitely have a good relationship with your tax accountant. I know my father, he talks to his accountant probably every week. When you are balling, you need to have close contact with them as well. You want to understand your expenses and the forecast of your expenses. So your expenses now, and you want to forecast for inflation. You want to understand, like, things might go up, things might go down. So you want to always be able to project exactly what it is. And sometimes you might project over, which is great, but try not to project under, because that's not so good. So you want to have a contingency line as well. When you're talking about your financials, include a contingency line for those incidentals that you did not consider. And so you would need to determine how much you should put aside or add into your financials for that. And that goes into your due diligence. You're asking the people already doing what you want to do, like, what are some of the shortcomings, what are some of the challenges financially, what has been some of your surprises, your unexpected expenses, things like that. You want to also describe your sponsors, your investors, loans that you have, your payment schedules. So for us with our real estate development, we had our investors, I found them on my own and I had to come up with the payment plan. So, what does that look like? What are the interests? What are you going to offer? If you want people to invest in what you're doing, what is the offering that you are, how are you making it attractive? What's the percentage that they're going to get over and above what they have given you? But you have to understand like what that whole thing is going to look like. You want to have a 12-month projection in your forecast of goods sold, cost of goods, and your overhead expenses. And you want to do it on a month to month basis. So, a lot of people, they try to take the shortcut and say, oh, in a year, we're going to do this and that's it. And it's good. Look what the year looks like. What is it month to month? Because you might be in an industry where December might be a booming month for you. You might have a good that, people want to buy for gifts. You might have a booming month in February around Valentine's Day, depending on what your industry is. You might have a booming month in September when people go back to school. You might have a booming month in the summer because you do something around people going on vacations. So you have to understand what your highs and lows are, and you need to do the projections according to that on a month to month basis. And you want to consider the demand and inflation is going to be really important. And then you want to have a 3 to 5 year projection, profit projection. Okay. Oh, I have all this written out and I keep forgetting to put it up. But wait, I'm going to go to the chat and see if people are saying anything. Let's see. Vernell is saying, I'm sorry. Vernell is saying, Coach, is it good when you have a business to do accounting every other week, quarterly, to keep out what's going in and which one out in your business? You said every other week, quarterly. Okay. It depends on how big the business is. If you're just a small business, I would say twice a year would be good to, see what's going on. But if you are a bigger business, I'm talking about you're an S corp, not an LLC or anything like that. Something that's well over 40,000 a year. You want to do something quarterly, because you might have to pay your taxes quarterly. You might have to put aside money quarterly to pay those taxes at the end of the year if that's what you're doing. But yeah, that would be my, because when you talk to those professionals, they're charging you. So as a small business, that's a lot coming out of your budget for people just to talk to you and give you advice. So you want to be very mindful. And that's why whenever I go anywhere to talk to anybody, I have my notebook. And the minute, like, if the meeting starts at 1, by 1 o'clock, I'm on it. Like, okay, this is the questions I have. Sometimes I might even email the questions ahead of time so that they can look it up, whatever. But be very direct and purposeful when you're having those types of meetings, so that when you get your bill, you're not like, wait, what? They charging me this? Because you were talking about whatever, for the first 30 minutes, and you on the clock. They don't care. They'll let you talk like that. Thank you for still being here, Natural. Thank you. Thank you, Edward. And Vern's Junk Closet is saying, I would say yes. At Vern, yes, is another stream of income. Okay, so you were answering another question that she had. Okay. Thank you, Vern. I'm just going to rock with that. And Vernell is saying, I know a closed mouth, right? Don't get fed. And when it comes to your loved ones, you want to be on top of their health situation, or if not, your loved ones. Yeah, absolutely. And so many people for some reason get afraid to talk up for their, especially when it comes to medical, because medical is so specific and important and all that. But I'm trying to tell you, I go in when it comes, especially to my family members. I am something else. I've banned doctors from coming to my mother's room ever. And it's so funny because I remember in Richmond, Virginia, and when my mother was in the hospital, the nurses, and because we would be there for so long, we would be there for long. But the nurses were like, what did you say to Dr. Such and such? I said, wait, where is he? Because he's not supposed to. They said, yeah, that's what I mean. He looked at the chart and saw that your mother was in this suite and was like, oh, I can't go in there. I said, yeah, he's not supposed to even be anywhere near her room. because he gave us wrong information. He was antiquated because, first of all, he was trying to give her stuff that people used back in the 70s and 80s. We in a technology, she has technology. Like, I mean, I can't even describe it, but it that's how I am. I will ban you from ever coming around. So that's what I had to do with him. A couple of them actually. Um, okay. So yeah, so your 3-year projection. Okay, so for your 3-year projection, and now this should be another subheader for you. It helps you prevent from being a statistic and going out of business in your first 3 years. Because with the IRS, they give you 3 years to have a loss. And so you want, but some people take advantage of that and they just don't even care. They're like, well, I have 3 years, so no, you want to keep trying to get where you're not at a loss, but you don't want to be a statistic, because if you don't keep trying to get out of a loss, you will be lost at the end. They will not you will not have a business anymore. So you want to operate in a profit and not in a loss. So you want to anticipate for the next, when you project 3 years, you want to anticipate any staff that you may have to hire, new facilities. So now, because of C-19, I think I know a lot of businesses are definitely changing the way that they are moving, where they thought they had to be in person, and now they realizing that they can be just as effective virtually. So that eliminates the cost of facilities, of brick and mortar. And what's really interesting, and I need to do some research on this, because my daughter was telling me today that a realtor told her that she should look into more commercial real estate, like, selling commercial real estate. And I was like, to me, from where I can see, I haven't done any research on it or anything, but I'm like, to me, that's not a good idea, because what I'm seeing, and I don't know, you all can chime in, especially in the malls, so many anchor stores and franchises, big time franchises like the Gap and Wilson's Leather, big stores have closed down, and they're putting in kind of like mom and pop shops, starter businesses. And I know they're doing that because they probably drastically reduced the rent and it made it very attractive to a small business. Like, what? I could be in this mall and I only have to, they give me the first 3 months free, or, whatever, whatever. But you got to be mindful as a business when you go into a situation like that, because that's a big responsibility. And so, and I'm looking at strip malls, and I'm not seeing any new businesses coming in. I see businesses going out, and so it's a lot of empty space. So if he's looking at it like there's a lot of commercial space available, yeah, but that doesn't mean that that's who you want to go after, because I don't know, people are moving differently. So you have to kind of be up on stuff. So you want to create a flow chart. When you do your 3-year profit projection, you want to do a flow chart so you can kind of see, and you want to look back a couple of years to see what it looked like a couple of years ago up to now, and then kind of project from there. But this, because of what we're going through right now, that's unprecedented, I feel like everyone's starting from ground zero at this point. So you really have to dig deep and really communicate with other people and think tank through this, so that you can kind of get a feel for what your industry is going to look like in the next 3 years. Heck, in the next year, I mean, but being that it's a 3-year projection, you are looking at what it's going to look like next year as well as year two. I see Vernell. Let's see. Vanilla saying doctors can get adamant when you ask a whole bunch of questions, because this doctor told me personally I don't have to answer any questions for you, and he was working on my mama. That don't roll this way. No. See, that's why I don't. Well, with my mother, I didn't ask questions. I told them what it was. Like, I was like, my mother's going to get a silicone trachea, not the metal one. And they were like, wait, how you gonna tell us? Like, this hospital, we have a contract with this company, and that's the one that they give. We don't do it. Doesn't matter what you don't do. What my mother is going to get is the silicone trachea, because that's going to be most comfortable for her. I've asked around to people who actually wear tracheas, have tracheas, and they told me that that was the most comfortable one. It moves with your body. It adheres to you better, all that. And I want her to be as comfortable as possible, since this is something that she's going to have to wear forever. And all I know is she got that. So you have to be real definitive, because if you ask the question, then they feel like that's an out for them, because they feel like they can convince you otherwise. But being that I know how it rolls, I know that they get deals for doing things mass. They get vacations, they get dinners, lunches, whatever, bonuses, whatever, for however many they sell or use in that line. That doesn't work for me. Being Marilyn Gala says, I think you're right on regarding commercial properties, at least right now. Yeah, and see, that's the thing. Because we're in such an interesting time, you have to determine, do you make moves off of where we are right now? Or are you really going to project to where we want to be? Should be, could be. I think you almost have to do it in both ways, because we are going to get out of this. It's just a matter of when. And it's hard to determine. I feel like it's going to get worse before it gets better, but you still have to have a plan in place. You still have to have a plan in place. Okay. Then you have to have your projected cash flow, because cash must continuously flow in and out to sustain your business. If you don't have a cash flow, what are you doing? You can't just continuously plan and have things set up and order new product and this and that, and don't have people making purchases or people buying your services or whatever the case is. You have to know that it has to work both ways, for you to also remain attractive, not only to your audience, but to remain attractive to your investors, to your sponsors. They want to see that you have a really good cash flow. So what you would do with this, a projected cash flow, is make a chart. And in that chart, it will help you plan how much you need before you start up. Your preliminary expenses, your operating expenses, and your reserves should all be on that chart. So what are your expenses to start? What are the basics that your business needs? And then what is the operating expenses? You want to consider your phone, your technology, your any kind of systems, additional systems you may need. For instance, if you literally print out your own t-shirts, what is the ink like? What is the machinery like? What is the service like on those machines? How often do you have to service them? So you need to consider all the little bits and pieces, all the nuances of your business as you are projecting your cash flow, because then that goes into the price of your items. When you may drop a price, what is the return on your profit then, if you have to have a sale? Or how often are you going to have sales? You need to determine when during the year you're going to have your sales as well. Don't just have these sales random, and it's just to get rid of your inventory. You should know, like, okay, this time of year um is a big buying year or a big buying season for this particular product. However, if we have some of that product left over, then we're going to schedule sales for this month, and we'll sell the excess that we have from that big selling piece that we just did. You want to try to have it where it's scheduled and you understand why you're having that sale. You don't want to just have sale just random, just because. And it's almost like Bed and Bath Body Works. What's it? Bath and Body Works. And they have those candle sales. I had no idea. I was just out, and I know my children love candles and everything. And so I don't keep up with all that stuff. I've actually been buying candles and things like that, from small businesses, especially the ones that I find on Instagram and on YouTube. It's like, I don't get it. But they understand it's a method to that. When they have those sales, it's a method to it. They don't just one day decide we're going to have this sale. They projected that in their projections, their 3-year, 5-year projections, their profit projections, and all of that. Let's see. Vernell is saying, no, I don't think she should go into commercial real estate, especially unless contract real estate, houses and stuff, because Mazda going to be elite in 10 years. Yeah, and so the real estate, the home real estate is doing really, really good right now. It's unbelievable because interest rates are at an all-time low. So I'm telling her, ride this wave, ride it, because we don't know where it's going to end, where the shore is going to make you shore up. So okay, so the next is budgets. And the budgets is where you connect all of the numbers. And it's your monetary timeline. Your budget, it gives you clarity on your major expenses. You want to know where that money is flowing out. You have your flow chart, but your budget is really keeping you on a straight and narrow. You want to make sure your budget is aligned with your goal. You should have a number of how much you actually want to make on a weekly basis, monthly basis, yearly basis. And it's a great tracking tool. A budget is a great tracking tool because it gives you that footprint that makes sure that every move you make is disciplined and well calculated. And you need to stick with that budget. If you are in a business where you have a lot of clients and you do something for those clients, how much do you budget to do that something for them? There's people that might back in the day, take their clients out to dinners. What is the budget? If you have a budget, you know what restaurant to go to or what restaurant not to go to. You have to be very disciplined in your budget because it's one of those feast or famine. That's what I call it. When, a person or a business rather would have an abundance of something. And because of that abundance, they're like freely going to just offer it up. But then when it's up and then they don't know what the next phase is because they don't have a plan. And then they look up and it's a drought. And then, they look back and they're like, man, I wish I wouldn't have done that because now I'm in this drought. But if you had your budget, you would have been good during that. Like your budget should at least sustain you for a year. You know how they say if you are an employee that you should have enough money saved in case you got laid off for 6 months? Well, for business, some businesses say they say 3 years. Some say a year, but a year is definitely not enough. But you want to have enough saved up so that if something happens in that business, then you are still able to sustain. You are able to sustain your employees, if you have any, yourself, if it's you want to be able to still operate and continue on. That's why a lot of businesses had to close so quickly too. Oh my goodness. You see how quick once March happened and everyone was home or whatever because of the pandemic, you see how quick so many businesses closed. It's because their budget wasn't straight. They didn't have a tight budget. Because if they had a tight budget, at least for the year, the rest of the year at least, they should have been straight. They should have known, like, I got this for the year. Maybe their next fiscal year, they might have had a challenge and, they might have had to make some cuts then. But for the year, I was shocked because we just started. Well, it depends on when your fiscal year, because some fiscal years are January, December 31st to January 1st. Some are June 30th, July 1st to June 30th, so it just depends. But we was in March. And so we were nowhere near the end or beginning of anyone's fiscal year, really. And that was disheartening. That means that a lot of businesses do not have good plans. They do not have a good budget. Um, it's crazy to me. So then you want to have a roadmap. And the roadmap that's something I will go in more deeper with the masterclass, but you would have what the tools are that you're using. I don't necessarily mean, like a hammer or anything like that, but your marketing tools, the description, and the date completed. And that's a chart that I definitely will go more in depth because it's really good to understand this if it's specific to your particular need. Let's see what else we have. Everyone is speaking. I see Minister of Music Terrence is back. Um, let's see. Okay, everyone is speaking. Perfect. All right, so that's the roadmap. And then we have the creative platform. And so there you would talk about your campaign themes. Okay. So even if you have to go to virtual, you still can have some amazing campaign themes. The style and tone should reflect who you are targeting. So in all of this, you want to definitely have your ideal client customer in mind. That is why it is important to understand who your client is, who your customer is, what is it that they need, what is it that they want, what are some of their concerns. You want to attract them to what you have to offer. Like I said, I'm in terms of wearing jewelry, I'm a minimalist. I will wear my band, maybe a pair of earrings, maybe another ring, sometimes a watch, sometimes a break, like very minimal things. I'm not into like big chunk. I love the way chunky jewelry looks on others. I just can't put it together like that. But I was able to create it and sell it to other people who love it because I knew what my customer wanted. And so it wasn't about what I like. If it was what I like, they all would have just had a diamond eternity band and that would be it, diamond studs, and that's it. But I knew what my client was looking for. I know that that particular woman that was my ideal client was into switching up her accessories according to her outfits, and so that's what I did. I didn't do it according to me. So you have to always remember that when you are doing campaigns, you want to have your ideal client in mind. That's why it's important to know, like, where do they work? What kind of work do they do? Where are they from? What do they read? Where do they vacation? What is their family life like? What are some of their challenges? What are some of their concerns, their questions? What kind of movies do they prefer? Just different things that you will give you the understanding of who they are. And I always say focus on one person. I mean, of course you're going to have hundreds, thousands of clients, but let it be just one person that you're talking to, so that that's like your focus, your focal point. And it's not saying that whatever you have to offer is not going to be good for this person over here, over there, but you really just want to focus on that one person. That's called attraction marketing. So understand who you are attracting, understanding the constraints. What are they? For you as a business, when we're talking about your creative platform, your restraints could be raising money, your supply and demand. If you have a high demand but low supply, or you have a high demand and you're having a problem getting the supply because of the transport of it, what is that? What are your constraints? Do you understand that? Evaluation criteria. How will you ensure that your plan is being executed? So if you go through all of these things to create your marketing communications plan, what are some of the things that's holding you back from executing it? How will you follow up? How will you follow up to ensure that this plan is being implemented and followed? How often will you go back to it? I recommend you go back to it at least once a month. In the beginning, once a week. But once it's rolled out, once a month, you want to go back and make sure that your team are all in agreement, that it still makes sense, that you're still following it. You want to look at the measure, you want to measure it and see what changes can be expected by implementing this plan. What do you expect? If you put something like this together, if you can write in the chat right now, what do you expect would happen with your business? Do you expect that you will get more hits on your website? Do you expect that you will get positive feedback? More customers? Most importantly, more repeat customers? What do you expect? And if everyone can put that in the chat, implementing a marketing communications plan, what do you expect? And so Vern is saying follow up. Let's see. Thank you. Thank you, Minister of Music, Terrence. Thank you. What do you expect? That's the thing. I think people put things together because it was suggested, they were told, it sounds good, it felt good at the time, but they don't really go in with any kind of expectation for it. And your expectations for it can't be what you see other people getting from it. It has to be your own. What do you need it to be? That's what's most important. Let's see. So Feast with Cornice is saying will grow tremendously. So her expectations for marketing communications plan is that her business would grow, that she would grow, and um it would grow in a positive way too. That's another thing. It helps you grow where you can handle it. It's manageable. It's a manageable growth, which is important. Burns is saying, I expect to be profitable and people to know my brand. Yes, yes. Absolutely. And Vernell is saying, your clothes are your statement. It shows you who you are. Your first impressions is your best impressions. Yes. So this is part of your brand as well. This is a document. It could be pretty. I remember one of our investment brokers when we were buying real estate and stuff. He was like, why would you want to put money into real estate? We were like, because we it was when the like 2006 or 7 when the crash was about to happen, and we was like, because we want to save, keep our money. And he's like, well, you could touch it, feel it. Talking about stocks, you could touch them, feel them, and do all that too. mm, okay. But this is a tangible document that you can touch and feel, but it is also part of your brand because people will see that you are organized. People will see that you have planned out what you're doing. You know, Even if they don't invest in you, that's still a respect for you because they will know you take your business seriously, and that means you would take them as a customer or as a client just as serious, and that is important too. Absolutely. Being Marilyn Gale is saying, I don't have a business now. I wish I know all this when I had my business. Yeah. And so, being Marilyn Gale, that's one of the reasons why I put this together, this business playbook series, because I am a business coach and I work with so many small businesses that are at the verge of closing down or stopping what they're doing, and they have a great product, a great business, a great service, but they hadn't put their foundation together. So imagine if you built a brand new house and it's so beautiful, but you were so concerned about how big the family room was going to be, or how high the ceilings were going to be, or how big the kitchen was going to be, but you weren't really focused on the infrastructure and the footprint and the foundation and how it was being laid. You just didn't care. You wanted them to put it up. And that's what a lot of people do with their business. They don't really focus on the important piece, which is the foundation, because once the house is built, it's hard to go back and fix that foundation. It's almost impossible in some cases. At that point, you just have to deal with a house that might be leaned to the side, or walls that are uneven, doors that don't close all the way, or you might just have to deal with that because the foundation, there's no fixing that. So my thing is, before you get into it, build your foundation first. Don't be in a rush. It will be there. And so whatever your business was, being Marilyn Gale, I'm sure that you can revive it, or pivot and go into another business. But at least you know now that there's information that can help you build that foundation strong first, and that's what's really important. And she's also saying, I came here because I'm always trying to learn. Yes, me too. I am a lifelong learner. I love to learn. When I learn something new, I can't tell you how excited I get. I'm like, wait, I didn't know that. Like, oh my goodness, say that again. Wait, wait, wait. And I write it down. I'm so excited. Oh my goodness. Vernell is saying, I'm so glad that you're here too. I'm glad that you all are here. Absolutely. Vernell is saying, when you stay on top, things top of things and get some minor things in order, everything will align with your plan, and that grows your business. People like consistency, that makes you money. Yes, people love consistencies. They don't want one and dones. Don't you hate it when you go to a business and you love what they have and you might get it, and then when it's time to go back, it's not there anymore, or they don't have that particular product, or they can't get it. Just like a lot of different things. And I actually think as a content creator, that's kind of how Facebook, I mean, not Facebook, but YouTube is as well. Who was I? I was talking with someone, and they're not a YouTube creator yet, but they were saying how, yeah, you really have to be consistent. That's one thing I know is, and I have to make sure that if I do start a YouTube channel, that I can keep up with it, because I don't want to put stuff out and then disappear, because it's almost like starting all over, and that's how it is, because this is a business as well. So it's building that foundation. And I know, especially for new content creators, trying to find your voice, trying to find your niche here on YouTube is challenging. It was hard for me. I knew what I wanted to talk about, um, but building that audience was and still is challenging. But it's not something that you just give up on. You just got to keep going. And so, as long as you know that what you are sharing and bringing is of value, then it will work. It's just like I remember, decorating our first home, and I was young. I was 25 years old, 26, and have a beautiful home. And I remember my mother-in-law was like, "You'll do fine. Just know that whatever you love, it will always come together." So it's one of those, like, if I love this for this room, 9 times out of 10, the next piece I love will match that. But you have to know what you love and believe in it and stand strong on it, and don't let like interior decorators or anyone force themselves on you and what you love. You have to have a strong idea. Now, if you don't have a strong idea, and I get it, a lot of people don't, that's fine too. But it just makes it more authentic and easier if you have a strong idea of what it is that you absolutely love, and that you're great at, understand what your SWOT is, and be able to implement that and go with it. And so that's the thing. I feel like YouTube is so huge. There's so many different types of content on here, and you see where some people are having amazing success, and but what they're doing is nothing like what you do at all. And so you wonder, hmm, is this something I'm supposed to do? Because they're killing the game over here. But that's not you. That's not for you. You have to stay true to yourself, true to you, be authentic. And so once you are good with being that authentic person, it I feel like that's when the doors really open. That's when the floodgates happen. And that's really important. Absolutely. Um, let me see. Feast for Cornice is saying, yes, it's building the audience. It's the hardest. Yes, building that audience. It's not for the faint at heart, but kind of like what Vernell was saying, you have to consistent. You have to stay consistent. And I noticed even, I did the video for November Thankful Nuggets every day in November. That thing right there, whew, that was a challenge, but I did it, but it was consistent. And I think that me showing up in some form or fashion every day was really, really helpful for my channel. I haven't been able to do a Vlogmas because I just came off of doing that. But I am staying consistent every week, putting out content. That's really, really important. Mm-hmm. Yes. And so, that's how it is with any business. You have to stay consistent. Your product has to stay consistent. Just because you might be able to cut corners here or there, if it's not going to be the quality that your customer base is used to, don't do it. I'd rather a business tell me they don't have it yet than to just try to sell me an inferior product, because that will hurt their brand for me. Then I'm looking elsewhere. It's like getting your nails done. If there's not, I haven't gone to get my nails done since the pandemic, but I used to always have my nails done, always. And I found a salon that no matter who I went to, my nails was gonna be good because I don't have time to schedule appointments with a person, and maybe my I can't keep that appointment. Maybe they can't keep that appointment. Then my nails are raggedy, and I'm like looking down at them, being discouraged, not encouraged, and so I always looked for a salon where everybody in there was consistent because to me that's business. You shouldn't have a salon and one or two people can do nails or hair or whatever the situation is. Everybody should be able to do it just as good, just as well. And yeah, you might have your favorite, but push come to shove, a person should be able to get like at least the basic of what they want and like. And so I finally found that kind of salon, and I see my daughters struggling. They don't want to go to the salon I used to go to, and so they always struggle because they always, the person that they like isn't always available. They go to different salons all the time because that's what you do. When you have one bad experience at a salon, you will salon hop. And, so they continuously go trying to find that one. I'm like, you just need to go to one where everybody in there know what they're doing. That's it. And that's all. And so, that's the consistency of a real business. It's like making sure that everyone can do it. You have a system, you have a standard, and everyone needs to adhere to it. If they can't, that means they're in training and they're not even getting paid as much as everybody. So, that's something that businesses need to look into as well. Whew. You guys, I enjoyed this session and I hope you did too. Of course, this live is not going to be published right away, but once it is, I know for me, when I learn new things, I always kind of let it marinate, and I really consider how I'm going to implement it, what it's going to look like, and how it's going to show up for me. And I typically will have more thoughts, more questions, more comments about it hours later, maybe even days later. So, what I want to do is, I want you to think about everything that we discussed today, regarding the business playbook and regarding the MARCOM, the marketing communications plan. And I want you to really think, how is that going to change the dynamics of your business, of what you're doing, how you want it to? And if this is something that you feel that you can actually implement. I mean, I'm asking you, do you feel like you can? But I'm trying to tell you, as a business, you need to. And come back once the video is published and put it in the comment section and let me know. And I would love to have that conversation with you back and forth. That would be so amazing. I will be here next Saturday as well at 6:30. Let me see what that date is. We're getting so close to the holiday. Okay, so the next week is the 19th. So I will be back on the 19th, and I will have part 5. And I'm excited. This is a 10-part series. Today is part 4, and it's about the marketing communications plan. It has been my pleasure bringing you this information. I see Jessica Hicks is in the building. Thank you, Vern. Thank you so much. Glad to see you, Jessica. Good to see you. Thank you, Vern. Thank you so much for also modding and being here. I appreciate you. And Vernell, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time out to spend it with me this evening. I hope that you were able to capture a nugget or two and that you have the layout of your marketing communications plan. Like I said, it's not as in depth as I would do, but I will be having a masterclass that will go in more depth with it so that it's more specific and targeted to you and your industry. Remember, this channel is about workforce development, career readiness, entrepreneurship, and of course, real life, real issues, and real talk. I will be here for part 5 next Saturday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So save the date, bring a friend, because it's going to be another great piece that's going to help you build your foundation strong for you and your business. Thank you, everyone. I'm glad that you all enjoyed Edward Smart. I'm glad you found it informative. Thank you for catching the replay. Jessica, in advance, thank you so much. Thank you all. I don't even want to start with the names because there's so many, and I just appreciate you all. And the ones that weren't able to join with the chat, I appreciate you for listening in as well. So until we speak again, remember, practice how you play. Practice so hard that when you play, you will always play to win. This has been Real Talk with Coach Sherri.